Welcome back to Kicking It with Mia. And we're about to get into episode 6 of season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we're opening up this episode with Britt. It's been 48 hours later, and Britt, of course, got the news that, Kenya has done what she's done. She's in shambles. She's not okay. She's basically crying and she's like, I can't believe that King would stoop this low. Does open up about her past. She says that as a teen, she let her ex-boyfriend film her giving fellatio, which is what Kenya, one of the poster boys Kenya showed. And she did say that she was a cam girl in her early 20s. So, it was stuff on her on the internet that she wasn't proud of, but she had got the internet wiped clean of those photos. So she was like, Kenya dug up these photos basically to embarrass her. She's like, I can't believe that she was stooped so low, that people have been reaching out to her colleagues, her family, her friends, just everybody has been reaching out to her that her license is possibly in jeopardy. Just she going through it, y'all. And she's like, she can't believe that Kenya went this far, which I don't think none of us could believe that Kenya went this far. Like, we know Kenya can be vindictive. We know Kenya gonna get you back. We've watched Kenya for years, but I don't think we thought Kenya would go to this extreme. I mean, at least I didn't think that she would go to this extreme. But, I don't know these people in real life, so you really just don't know what a person would do. But yeah, she went to this extreme. She started crying, and y'all, Mike goes to console her. And it's just so awkward to me. They're just the awkward couple to me. It's like he did console her and let her know that it's going to be okay, but it was a little awkward. But even Mike said, that it's crazy that Kenya would do this at her event that she's saying is for her child. Which in this situation, I can't defend Kenya. I have, like I said before, Kenya has always been that person. I feel like she was good TV, but she has always done stuff that like I really didn't like. But I was starting to really like, okay, Kenya has turned over a new leaf. Like, I'm liking Kenya, and then she does this. But I do feel like Britt is taking this and she's running with it. I think that what Britt is doing, the whole victim and I'm so distraught and I'm hurt and I can't believe it, is what Kenya should have did. When Britt threatened her, Kenya should have pulled out the bag that Britt has got out right now and that she's using to basically get Kenya off the show and to let her know my livelihood, basically saying her license is in jeopardy because that's like my livelihood. Like, I came on this show and then now my livelihood, if I don't, be on this show, my livelihood is in jeopardy because of what one of y'all employees did. So she's using this to her advantage. And you know what? I cannot blame Britt. Yeah, I cannot blame Britt because I feel like this is the game Kenya should have played. But Kenya let her ego and her emotions get the best of her. And we're watching Britt act like she's just a cold-hearted victim. And Kenya has been picking on her for so long. And she don't know why she would do her like this. And she's using it to her advantage. And it's working, y'all. Unfortunately, like, I'm not taking no sides because they both was wrong in their own right. But I just feel like Kenya went too far. And I'm sorry if y'all don't agree with that, but she went too far. Also, y'all, I don't know if I'm buying the whole Britt was underage thing, was a minor. She probably was a teenager, which means she was probably 18 or 19, but I don't think she was a minor. Yes, she's still a minor. Yeah, but by law, I don't think she was a minor. I think if she was a minor, it would have been grounds for more. I don't know. I feel like they're saying when she was a teenager, but I feel like she was 18 or 19. I don't feel like she was like a minor. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's just because the wording that they are using. I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? So Kelly come by, and she comes with food for Britt and Mike, and she basically says, I'm doing for Britt what I would want my friends to do for me, and I thought that was sweet. Everybody wants a friend like that, and so she comes over and she's like, I just want to check on you to make sure you're okay because that was crazy. And as they're kind of chatting, the doorbell rings and Kelly has an IV specialist as well. So she's got an IV specialist to come over because Britt has been in the house crying and upset. And so she basically wanna replenish her and make her feel better. So, if IV specialists hydrate you, like if you're dehydrated, they can get you back hydrated. They can give you vitamins that your body needs that you're lacking. So they really do help. So as they're waiting for the IV specialist to get ready for them, they're talking. And Britt basically says, Kenya had been coming for her, been poking for her, been wanting to humiliate her. So Kenya did this because she wanted a reaction out of her. Rightfully so. Kenya did want a reaction out of her, which is reason why I didn't really get why Kenya kept going when Britt left, because you're not gonna get you didn't get the satisfaction of seeing the dumb look on Britt's face. So why not stop then? But Ken was too far gone. Kelly did say that, she couldn't believe Kenya because Kenya was very nice to her. That's not the Kenya that she met. Kenya was always pleasant with her. And she basically like said in so many words, I liked Kenya. But Britt is like, no, we got to get her out of here. She wanted to humiliate me. She wanted a reaction out of me. And Britt ain't trying to hear it for nobody that's there for Kenya. Britt ain't trying to hear it. So she's basically, like, She wanted to poke at me, which I side eye Britt because poking at you is crazy. But I did say, y'all, Britt is playing her part. She's playing her role. And if she's the victim, she's in victim mode right now. Like, she ain't did nothing. Britt is acting like she ain't the cause of all of this. Like, she ain't did nothing. Like, Kenya just came out of this stuff with left field. And left. So, yeah, she using this to her advantage, unfortunately. But she's not trying to hear nothing about Kenya. All of the ladies are meeting up at the Sterling Hall, Shamia's house. They just basically meeting to discuss what happened with Kenya. And all the ladies are there except, of course, Britt, Kenya, and Cynthia. And they reflect on basically how wild that Kenya went. They can't believe that Kenya stooped this low. Portia even says, Kenya done a lot of stuff, but Kenya twirled on down the hell, baby. She said Kenya twirled on down the hell. Like, she was like, Kenya done a lot of stuff, but I can't believe that she took it that far. Basically Shamia, she asked too that, no woman should have another woman plaster their private sexual escapades or whatever on a poster board. And I agree. Like, nobody wants to see that. And she basically says that she couldn't believe they couldn't believe it. Also, they do, say that the hair spa is a place where you go to be uplifted as a woman, which that I do agree. And that's why I couldn't understand why would you self-sabotage yourself like that? And she's like, we were there to uplift Kenya in that, support her in her hair spa. And it's supposed to be a place where women can go to be uplifted. And here Kenya here is at her hair spa grand opening, turning down another woman. And it's like, damn, Kenya. Like, that's all I can say. It's like, damn, Kenya. It's really nothing you can really say to that. Kelly admits, like, she's admitted, she like, I really liked Kenya, but I just wish Kenya the best. She was like, I don't have basically any ill will towards her. I wish her the best, but I don't think we could come back from that. So basically, she's like, I don't think me and Kenya could be cool. And so she asked Portia, And Portia really don't want to answer the question because, baby, let's be clear here. Portia done popped off with Kenya for way less. Y'all remember that bullhorn situation? So I feel like if she would have done that to Portia, baby, Portia would possibly went to jail. Her and Portia would have been fighting. So Portia then said in the confessional that if it was her, then she wouldn't be able to come back, with Kenya from that. Like she would not fool with Kenya again. Even when Kenya showed the pictures, I don't know if y'all paid attention to Portia's face, but Portia was looking like, here go the Kenya that I know. Like we've been good, and I've been seeing you in a different light, but she looked really disappointed in Kenya. And so it's just like, it's unfortunate that Kenya stooped this low. And it's like, I hate to keep saying that because it's like this situation has been drawn out. But it's just like, I just can't believe Kenya would do it at her event. I'm not more so shocked that Kenya done it. It's the way she done it. Now, if Kenya would have took her phone and was like, look at you, without showing it to everybody, then I could see Kenya doing that. I really could see Kenya doing it. But to this magnitude, no. Shamea moms then chimed in and basically, is reminding the ladies to uplift each other. And I kind of see where Shamea get her spirit from. Her mother seemed real like sweet and all about, coming together, not on all that rah-rah stuff like some of these other mamas be on these shows. We know these others mamas be wanting they moment, so they be acting a fool. But Shamea's mom seems like she genuinely wants the ladies to get along. Angela asked Portia, what did she mean by what she knew about Charles, baby? Angela she ain't playing about Charles, baby. She not playing. And so Portia basically just said that she was playing, but she realized that they don't know each other like that to play like that. So she basically apologized. She's like, I feel like, maybe I went too far because we don't know each other like that. We're getting to know each other. And they kind of squash it. If you've been on YouTube, Portia had started a YouTube, and she did say that they were playing a game, and Angela was being very surface level. So that's why she asked that question, but that production cut it out. I don't know. But baby, if you say you heard something about Charles, baby, come with them receipts, because Angela ain't playing about her man. And I do maybe Portia has heard something about Charles. Maybe she hasn't, child. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, they kind of squash it. Angela's just like, if you heard something, she would want to know, because basically she don't like, well, man, y'all. Late Drew has finally arrived. Drew been late. I'm telling y'all, Drew been late for everything they got going. I don't know what Drew got going on, but baby, Drew was like, y'all go ahead and start. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna be there when I get there. I'm coming. So y'all, as Drew is arriving, she's basically telling the driver, she's basically gonna get up with him because he has a nice spirit. I said, baby, is Drew trying to find her another man? But so they asked Drew how she's doing with her divorce, and she's like, kind of, it's hard, but we're basically like a family because we're still all in the same house, so it's kind of still like we're operating like a family. So then Angela asked Portia, do she feel like she has any support with her divorce with Simon? And Portia says, she kind of fantasized that they could get on one accord, but Simon ain't trying to hear it, baby. Simon don't want nothing to do with Portia. She says that, he's basically showing her somebody that she doesn't know. So Angela asked her, if Simon was to want to reconcile and get back together with her, would she do it? And Portia said, no, after you disrespect my mother, absolutely not. She says that, they show Simon saying that Miss Diane, Portia's mother, was with her trying to break in the house with a gunman. And she's like, he put my mother name and stuff. And no, like, that's out the question because he's been disrespectful to my mother. Um, she also said that she doesn't like how he's been disregarding Pilar, her daughter. She's like, Pilar been looking for him. She calls him Papa or something. But she says Pilar had been looking for him. You know, she's asking if he's still at work. Or if Portia told Pilar that he's been away at work. And she's like, you know, I guess she reached out to Simon to let him know that Pilar is looking for him and she's asking about him. And Simon read the message, got his red receipts on, and didn't reply. And Portia is like, wow, you know, I can't believe he would disregard a child and we had a family together, and it's just basically like he don't care. And then she does go on to say, you know, how that he basically is somebody that she don't know, like he's a different person. And it's just like, Portia, he's been him. His mask is just, you're just meeting the real him. And I kind of feel like y'all know I like Portia, but I feel like they both had their opportunities. They both was an opportunist in this situation. Portia goes on to say she don't feel like she loved him anymore because it just wasn't real. But I feel like Portia seen her man who had the money young, and he could help her live the lifestyle that she wanted to live without having to work so hard. Rightfully so. Most every woman wants that. So I'm not even gonna shame her for that. And I feel like Simon seen Portia. She's in the limelight. Portia is that girl, whether y'all like her or not. She is. And he seen that and he wanted a piece of that. He wanted a piece of the fame, and they got together. I do feel like Portia has issues with men. I feel like maybe Portia had some daddy issues or something. She spoke about that before. And so I think that's why she wants to be protected so bad. She maybe didn't feel like she was protected as a child or something. But yeah, she's like, Simon protected her at one point, and that's kind of what she's missing. But she said that she would never get back with Simon. She just basically can't believe that he's acting like this. And through all of this, you know, she broke down. Shamea came over to console her. And yeah, and the way Shamea was consoling Portia is what we should have seen Mike doing to Britt. But they so awkward, child. They are so awkward. I don't even know. Then Kelly goes on to say, you know, that she want to have a little brunch with all of the ladies because she want to have like a brunch, a peaceful brunch, and all the ladies to get together. And she asked Drew and Portia, are they good? Can they be, you know, basically in the same room? And I'm like, but they been in the same rooms. Why are they acting like Portia and Drew just been beefing hard? Like, they didn't have their issues, but it haven't been nothing to the point where the group can't, you know, function. Portia's like, I can coexist with Drew. I don't have issues with Dennis. Me and Dennis don't talk about Drew, so it's not hard to be in a room with her. It's like, y'all gonna ride this storyline out till y'all can't ride it out no more. Like, get over it. Y'all been in the same room. It haven't been an issue. It's not gonna be an issue at the peaceful brunch. Let it go. So after Drew and Portia basically let them ladies know, like, we can coexist. We're good. Drew says that she's kin to Michael Jordan. Jordan came up because of the liquor, I believe. That Shamea, that they were gonna take a shot. Angela said something in reference to Jordan. Drew was like, Jordan, this is my cousin. Now, Drew, is you just with Drew, baby, I don't know when she lying or when she not lying, but I don't know if Jordan really her cousin. Drew strike me like she think Jordan might be her cousin because they got the same last name, child. But Shamea basically like, Jordan, oh, y'all gotta make up. Jordan. So Portia is like, yeah, we need to get some of that Jordan money. And, you know, they have a little kiki. And this is why I always tell y'all, I like Shamea and Portia. But for y'all to think that Shamea don't have her sneaky, shady ways is insane to me. I feel like they are one in the same in a way. Like, Shamea, I feel like Shamea is more nice, nasty, like a little bit more reserved. With her, she says stuff, but it's not how Portia said it. Portia is more in your face with it. I just feel like y'all are trying to put them against each other. And don't get me wrong, Portia have done some shady shit and has done some stuff that I hadn't liked. But I feel like we would see more as we get to know Shamia more too. So yeah, I just had to say that. So next we see Kelly and her daughter, which this scene was kind of hurtful. It was kind of sad, but it's real. And I feel like it's one of those things that I feel like some people can really relate to. Like I said before, I like Kelly. I appreciate her authenticity and just being her and being real. And it's like, look, this is what it is. And so Kelly and Chloe's her oldest daughter, and she's 17. They're doing yoga together, and basically they're having a mother daughter session, and basically they I found they banter back and forth to be funny, especially if you have a daughter. If you have a daughter, like I have a daughter, so I kind of understand, like when they were doing the yoga poses and Chloe was humming and Kelly was like, just do the pose, you do not have to do all the humming and stuff. Like, that's so real, because we know, like, girl, you ain't got to do all that. But I just feel like, it's so funny because your daughter, most of the time, is just you in a different body with the attitude and gonna keep it real with you. So, especially when y'all have that relationship. So, I liked it that during this session with them, Kelly gets a text from someone named Lamont. She gets a text basically saying that an article is out about her and her husband. Um, and it's basically saying, that all the stuff that they've been through, and she's kind of like, she feels a way about that because her younger daughters don't really know what's going on. They think he's still in jail. He's been out of jail. Um, and they haven't had any contact with him, so she don't want them to possibly go to school or other people, ask them about their daddy or ask them about the articles. Y'all know how people are. People are nosy, and people will ask kids. Unfortunately, you do have some grown people who will ask kids questions, and then you have some people who will talk about stuff to their kids, and then their kids go back and ask. So I understand, Kelly not wanting to share that type of stuff with her daughters, because if everything Kelly is saying, is legit and true, which I believe it is, he's crazy. Like, anybody that would threaten you in front of a judge ain't wrapped too tight. So yeah. Um, she's I can understand why she would do that. And then, Chloe says, she wished that he would quit saying stuff about the 4 children, because if you guys know that Chloe isn't his daughter. The last 3 girls are his daughter, but Chloe has a different father. But Kelly says that he's been in Chloe's life since she was 2. So basically, you basically are the only father that she knows. Apparently, it seems that's what it's given. And he's basically now in the article acting like he wants to be a family and he want to be there for his 4 kids, but Chloe is clearly like, he don't like me. Basically, he doesn't care for me like that, so I wish he would quit saying the 4 kids. And I found that to be very disheartening, especially with him being in her life since she was 2 and she's 17 now. So which means, I don't know the exact timeline, but he's been in her life at least a good amount. Well, we know he's been there a good amount of years, but for him to basically kind of disown her now is messed up. Like, it's fucked up, actually, because it's like, you're the only father she know. You've been a father, and Kelly says that he was a great father to her while they were together. So now that y'all are going through what y'all are going through, for him to basically mistreat her is disheartening and sad, especially if she felt like she had that relationship with him. I found that to be really heartbreaking, y'all. Like, no child should have to feel that, like, because you have issues with my mother, then you don't really care about me no more. And that's one thing that I would give Basement Boy Ralph. Ralph has done his fair share of BS, but he still treats Drew's oldest son like his. And it's crazy that this man is basically like he don't want to have anything to do with her. And she says, Chloe says that, she's okay with it. She's basically learned to accept it and she's gotten over it. Which I'm not sure if she's really okay. But I do think it's good that she's noticing and that she's wise enough to kind of peek, what it is. But I do think that they should continue counseling and stuff, because that's hurtful. That's hard to deal with, especially somebody that's been in your life since you was two. Like, that's basically your daddy at that point. And for him to basically just throw you to the side because he's having issues with your mother that's hard disheartening. Um then Chloe goes on to say that she doesn't want to get married. Like Kelly is like, one day you'll get married. And she's like, I don't want to get married. And as hurtful as that is, and I know that hurt Kelly and she probably feel guilty about that. That's real. Especially when you've seen something like so like detrimental, and the way he's treated Kelly and all the stuff that Kelly she's seen her mother go through at the hands of this man. It's like, why would I want to get married? Why would I want to put myself through that? So Kelly does says, no, you should, basically every man is not like that. But Chloe's like, no, I'm good. So Kelly says, maybe we should continue doing yoga. We don't have to go to therapy. We could do yoga and stuff, other ways to basically heal, find ways to heal. And Chloe's like, I'm more open to going to therapy than to do yoga and have to meditate. But which I feel like therapy would be very good for her, because even though she's saying she's okay, at her age and just the dynamics and all this stuff, and then with them opening up is them being public figures and stuff now, I feel like counseling would be good for her, because that's a lot to unpack, and that's hurtful. So I really appreciated this scene. Though that's why I keep saying, like, I like Kelly because Kelly has been real. She's like, this is what it is, and she's opening up and letting us know what it is. And I feel like this is something that somebody else can definitely relate to. We see Drew packing her bag and she's basically getting ready to leave. She says that every first, third, and fifth weekend she have to leave her house so Ralph can come from the basement and spend time with the kids. And if it ain't no bullshit I done heard in life, that's that's some BS. I understand it's legal orders, but that's too much. I feel like the kids can't go downstairs with you for the weekend. I have to literally pack a bag and go stay somewhere else for you to see your kids. Like, we can't coexist to that point. Like, it's too much. She's telling Nana, that's her daughter, that, come on, let me do your hair before I go, because you and daddy, y'all are gonna go do something fun. And Nana is kind of giving Drew the run around. Drew started counting, and Nana really ain't trying to hear what she's trying to say. But Drew did say that she feel like the kids are acting out, which it could be, she probably is acting out because she probably really don't want her mama to go anywhere. And I just was like, damn, that's a lot. To have to pack up every other weekend basically to leave your house just so he can come upstairs. Yeah. So she sits down to eat breakfast with her son, her oldest son, and Nana, the middle child, is still in school. So she sits down and she eat breakfast with them, and lo and behold, here come Basement Boy to tell her that her time is up and she got to go. So Drew, she's basically like, I know my time is up. I'm about to go. And so before she leaves, she's like, can I talk to you? Can I speak to you about the exterminator bill? And so Drew says that she's been paying the exterminator bill, but her lawyer has informed her that Ralph is supposed to be paying this bill. So she needs to tell Ralph to handle it. And so Drew is basically telling him that, and he ain't trying to hear it. He like, Drew don't pay no bills. I pay all the bills. The least she can do is pay the exterminator bill. And while some of y'all is like, well, if he paying all the bills, she can pay the exterminator bill. I get that. But if it's court order that he pays it, then he needs to pay it. And the reason being is if she's saying that she make less than Ralph and he's flipping all the bills and she's paying something extra, and he can use that against her and say, well, she was able to handle this. She was able to do that. So yeah, I'll make him pay what he needs to pay. I still don't know what Ralph does. I know they said he's in tech, so maybe he has a tech job or something. I don't know. But he said he pays all the bills, child. So in the midst of him stealing Drew's money and all that extra stuff that Drew said he did, he paying the bills. So he's not trying to hear it. He's letting Drew know like it's time for you to go. And basically, not to argue, Drew just leaves. And she's like, she kind of have like a little breakdown in the car. And her sister, Allison, is there. And Allison is like, what is this? He doesn't usually come up here while filming, now all of a sudden, I mean, not while filming. He doesn't usually come up until you're gone. Now all of a sudden he's coming up before you left. And we know why Ralph came up. Because Ralph wants some camera time, baby. Ralph want to be on camera. So he had to make his grand entrance. But y'all, I don't know if it's just me. I do have a hard time with sometimes believing Drew and Ralph because they both are a mess. Like, we know Ralph is full of it and he's shady. And we know Drew be lying and she's an actor. So sometimes I feel like they are in cahoots. Like, are they really getting a divorce? Or is this all for a storyline? Like, if I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. But I know I'm not the only one that feel like, is they really getting a divorce or are they doing this for a storyline? Because we know Drew is an actress. She's a good ass actress. And Ralph is shady and he does stuff for the camera. Portia said that she felt like Drew, Dennis, and Ralph was all in cahoots. Even though I feel like she may have been in on it too. She said this on her YouTube channel. So I kind of side on wonder like, are they really getting a divorce? I don't know, y'all, but Drew, she's upset. She leaves off the premises like, let me hurry up and leave before he call and tell them that I haven't left. I'm still on the premises doing his time. Like, if this is all true, it's just too much, baby. It's a lot going on. So we see Shamea meeting up in the studio with Ariel. Most of you all probably know Ariel. He's from the group Next, and he's a writer. He's basically helping Shamea with her music, and Shamea lets us know that she's very great friends with Ariel's wife, Lena. If you follow any of them on social media, Portia, Shamea, Quiet, Toya Johnson, if you follow any of them on Instagram or anything, then you will see that they're all cool with her. They actually have a baby on the way and they all posted her the other day. So they're all cool. So basically Ariel is helping her. She's good friends with them, and Ariel wants to help her with her music. She does tell Drew needs to get her Ariel. And now Shamea, I mean, Ariel is cool. We like Ariel, but I like give it to Dennis and Drew. They did their thing. So we gon' let it cool. We gonna let it be cool. Angela arrives. And Angela and Shamea are, baby, ever since they done squashed their beef, they getting along, baby. Angela arrived and, she's basically kind of a little low-key fanning, like, oh, that's Ariel, girl. You in the studio with Ariel. Like, okay, And so she did ask Shamea about the situation with Portia, and Portia acting like she didn't know that was Shamea's song playing when Shamea played it for the ladies. And y'all, I like Portia was wrong for that, and Shamea says that that hurt her feelings, rightfully so, because Portia, like I said, even if she didn't feel like that sounded like Shamea, she should have still been cheering her on. She says that when her and Portia later got in a car, whatever, they talked about it, and basically Portia was like she really didn't think that was her. Maybe it was the auto tune. I don't know, y'all. But as her friend, even if you didn't think that was her, how you just told her when y'all later on left and y'all talked about it, like, girl, I really didn't think that was you. You could have waited to act like you didn't know that was her and told her that later on, but cheered her on. Like, if that's your girl, when you get in front of people, I don't give a damn who it is, I'm going to cheer you on. Like, even if I didn't catch your voice, or I didn't feel like that was you, even though I feel like Portia knew it was her, if I didn't feel like that was you, I'm going to be like, yes, y'all better hear my sister. Like, I'm going to cheer you on in front of everybody. I'm never going to make you look like a fool in front of everybody, basically. And so Angela was like, she could tell Shamea was hurt by it, and that she hopes that Portia is just as loyal to her as Shamea is to her, which I do agree. I do agree. She's like, if you're gonna be riding for Portia, basically, she needs to ride for you the same. And you know what? I can't even argue with that. Angela, you're right. You spot on, because if you're not gonna be loyal to me, I'm not supposed to be your cheerleader, and it's just gonna be one sided. We not doing it. So Shamea goes on to say, she always prioritizes Portia's feelings, but it's not just Portia she does that with. She says she's a people pleaser, and she does this with everybody. And we can see that. Like, even with the situation with the baby, if you feel like that you really shouldn't try to have a baby right now because you got so much going on, you may should tell your husband that. Like, she's prioritizing him on another baby rather than everything that she's got going on. Not just bringing that situation up, but I can see how she's a people pleaser. And baby, to all you people pleasers out there, I used to kind of be, when I was younger, kind of be like, I need to do this because they want me to do it, or they want me to come, baby. If it don't work for you, then don't do it. If you not with it, then don't do it. Like, I'm glad that's something that I learned quick and early on. No, because if I don't like it, I ain't doing it. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it. Or if I feel like you treat me a certain way, then guess what? That action fits to be right back at you. Like, so hopefully Shamea sees this and kind of be like, let me dial it back and let me do what really works for me. So Drew shows up to the studio, and Shamea is talking about, how she felt with Portia, and Drew's like, yeah, that was messed up. Then they show the confessional of Shamea singing her song, and production so messy. They asked Shamea to sing a piece of her song, and they basically chopped up the edit like Shamea sung the whole song. And y'all, did y'all catch that shade that Shamea threw at Drew? In the confessional was like, Drew can come and she can do this, but she can't hit them notes. Y'all caught that shade? I said Shamea be throwing that shade. She said Drew can't hit them notes, baby. But yeah, she goes on to say that, she's not new to music. She started singing when she was younger in the church. She was in the group Pretty Tony with Carrie Hilson. And, she felt like RL and B Flat, they have helped build her confidence back up. And, she feels good where she's at. And y'all, Drew, here go Drew. That's how I feel about Dennis. Like, these royalties from this song, from this thing, will be able to pay for PJ's college. It should be like, baby, I think PJ college is already paid for. Well, maybe it'll get her some snacks or something. Drew, that was a good one. Like, I gotta give it to Drew. That was a good one. They goes on to play Shamia's song T-shirt, and I'm actually feeling this song. I think I like her other song was cool, but I think I'm liking this one a lot better, y'all. I think I'm liking T-shirt better. I need to hear the whole song, but yeah, I'm liking it. Okay, so next we see Britt meeting up with her mother. And she's basically letting her mother know that she's not all right. And she's like, I'm not okay. She said that she's surprised, that her mother is supporting her. And that kind of made me go, maybe this is why Britt is the way she is. Because she said, I'm surprised my mother's supporting me. I had to call her and let her know that this lady has blew up a poster board and showed multiple people of me giving fellatio. And then she goes on to say, that with what's going on, her older sister has reached out to her. Y'all know their relationship has been estranged. They haven't talked to each other. She's like, my older sister has reached out to me and let me know that she's there for me. So she felt good about that. Her mama goes on to say, that's how women are. We're not gonna stoop to their level. And Britt is just like, I've always had to deal with this, with girls not liking me. And I get it to a certain extent because you do have a lot of vindictive people out here. But Britt, you gotta take some accountability, baby. Like, if Kenya would have did this unprovoked and it hadn't been no issue, then yeah, maybe we could say that. But the fact that you was poking at Kenya, it's like, girl, you gotta take some accountability. Now, what Kenya did wasn't right. I'm not saying it was right by any means, but don't act like you don't know why she would do this to you when you clearly threatened this girl with a GUN and a whip. Like, come on now. Like Britt, come on. So, but yeah, her mother is like Miss USA. Kenya's Miss USA. She should be uplifting women. And I do agree with that. I do agree. But this is why I always tell people, do not idolize people. Because just because she's Miss USA doesn't mean she's the poster child for, you know, uplifting women. I think a lot of people see people and they see their titles and they see them, on TV and on screens and stuff, and they think that they're one way, and you don't know these people for real. Like, I'm giving my review on these people, but in real life, I don't know these people for real. And I think that's something that people should always know. Like, just because they seem cool don't mean they're cool. But yeah, her mother is basically saying she's there for her. I kind of find it odd that she's surprised that her mother is there for her. Maybe that's why Brit is the way she is. Who knows? So Portia and Shamia are meeting up to go on, just have a little fun. And so Shamia is like she haven't got to hang out with Portia in a while, so she's not gonna bring up her feelings about, Portia talking over her song. Which I'm like, Shamia, she's like, she's going through a lot and I don't wanna throw that in her face, which I get it. But it's like at some point, Shamia, you gotta just be honest with her. Like, because maybe she don't think nothing is wrong with it until you express to her what it is. They go on, they just, having small talk, talking about, what they're gonna get to do for Father's Day. They bring up Angela and her fan, and Lord, y'all. Why they mention Netta and Charles and Netta from TikTok. I gotta go look on TikTok now and see if they said that they've been mentioned on the Housewives. They some icons, because y'all know Netta is crazy. I'm like, now why would she call this lady Netta? Because the way she say Charles, your lunch is ready. But so basically, they just, chatting it up. Portia's talking about, what she's been going through. She says that, that she talked to Dennis and Dennis has agreed not to film with Drew. Then, of course, production running back where a month ago when Portia was getting into it with Dennis in the car, and then just 8 days later, they are filming together. So he lied. He told Portia that he won't film with her, that he want her, and she don't want. If she don't want Dennis to film with Drew, then Portia basically needs to tell him that she don't want it. But Portia's like, no, I want to see what he's gonna do. Like, I feel like Dennis is still having some hope there that maybe they could get back together. Like I said, if Dennis wouldn't have messed up with cheating on Portia while she was pregnant, I think they would have really been back together. But I do know he really hurt her. Um, they go on, they're playing the game, it comes up about the embryos, and basically Portia's asking Shamea, how's that going? And she's like, it's a 30% chance. And, they just working on, her and Gerald are working on growing a family. She asked Portia about her embryo with Simon. She's like, Simon didn't send no cease and desist for the embryo. And Portia's like, we got to get through all this before we can basically worry about that. Portia kind of act like she really didn't want to say too much about it. But, child, at this point, I hope Portia ain't trying to do anything with them embryos with Simon's child. Baby, you better off going to have you another child by Dennis if you want another child. Like, at least Dennis gonna be a good father. Not saying Simon is a bad father, but still, at least you know what you're dealing with Simon, child. So they go on to play. Shamea was talking noise and ended up letting Portia beat her. So yeah, this was a good scene. I just wish Shamea would have been more forthcoming in her feelings to Portia instead of always sweeping it under the rug. That way, Portia can't say she don't know because you're putting it on the table and you letting her know, hey, I don't like that. So we're at the final scene in this episode, and we're at Kelly's peace brunch, and Portia is calling Kelly because she says she's sick and she can't make it. Kelly throw a little slick shade at Portia, like, girl, get better, take some meds, but just don't take nobody meds. Portia like, I can't make it, I'm sick, PJ got me sick. Shamea and Angela arrives to the peace brunch, and Angela is there with her fan, baby. Angela says she's not perimenopausal, but I defer. I think she is, which is okay. Like, I know as women, sometimes we think about getting older and aging, like, oh my God, I'm getting older. Because sometimes I think it too. But it's really a blessing. So she's like, Kelly, I bought somebody with me, Polly and Esther, her boobs, and she's like, it's hot. She hot as hell. Kelly kids with Shamea and Angela about Kenya being there, and she's like, nah, it's just Kenya's ghost. Kelly do open up about, how her information is in the blogs and she don't like that. Her husband is out of jail, and how he's behind $10,000 in child support, and she's like, she's more private and stuff, and she don't like her business on Front Street, especially since she has little kids. So Drew arrives, and baby, Drew is on time this time. Then after Drew arrives, Britt arrives, and when Britt came, y'all, it's just like the energy just went. Like, her energy was off from the jump. So Kelly is saying, how she put this brunch together because, she wanted to be there for Britt. She put it together for her. And, so Britt is like, where's Portia? She let her know that Portia's sick. And she's like, okay, cool. And she's letting, Kelly is like, they got to talk to Kenya to see how her feelings is. And now we need to talk to you. And baby, why Kelly say that? Britt just really, her energy was already here. It went even lower. And she's like, why are they talking to Kenya? Like, did y'all not see what she just did? Why are they even won't care about Kenya's feelings? And like, at the end of the day, Britt, I know you want it to all be about you. And yes, you was wrong. But they were friends with Kenya before you came in the picture. Like, this is the thing. I feel like she felt like everybody was just going to disown Kenya. And then because they didn't, she feel away. But it's like, Britt, they're just getting to know you. Their loyalty doesn't lie with you. And it may not lie with Kenya either, but they're being neutral as they should. They shouldn't just take sides. I don't think that they should just take sides to the point where everybody's like, oh, we not gonna talk to Kenya. No, because me personally, I would have been asking Kenya, are you okay? Because why would you self sabotage yourself like that? You know, like, I know you wanted your get back, but sis, this wasn't the way to do it. You know, I would be talking, trying to see what it is. Like, is her mental okay for her to do this at her event? But Britt has a problem with that. She take offense to that. She tells Shamia's like, yeah, she said that she lost her license. And so Angela was like, under what grounds? And here you go. Britt the liar. It's coming out. She told Shamia that she lost her license, but she's gonna retract that and say she's under investigation when Angela start asking her questions on why would they take your license. Like, Angela's like, I have my license, she's a broker or whatever. I can't remember exactly what all Angela do, but we know she's in the field. So she has her license and she's like, they're not just taking your license over a rumor or something like that. Like, first of all, it's basically, it hasn't been that long. You're saying that it's under investigation. You're saying that they took your license. Like, Britt is just playing her role, trying to make it all about her and trying to basically, like, to the point where she don't want nobody to be cool with Kenya. It's like, that's just unrealistic, child. We knew Kenya. Now, like, Angela and them, they may have not known Kenya, but Drew, Shamia, Portia, all of them, they've been knowing Kenya way before you came in the picture, Miss Thing. So you can't be mad because they checked on Kenya too. And the fact that she's just lying, trying to make it more than what it is, it's like, that make people like, we were, showing you some type of sympathy, but now, okay. Like, girl. So Britt and Angela gets into it, basically. And Britt is like, read the room. And Angela basically called Britt out and, like, she does stuff and she hides her hand, which she's right. And Britt is like, she's mad about that. And it's just like, this is the Britt that, this is why we're here. Because you poke and you poke and you poke. This whole entitled thing that you feel like everybody should have your back and everybody should just throw Kenya to the side because she did something wrong to you. It's crazy. Especially with some of the ladies just meeting you and getting to know you when they've been knowing Kenya for years, whether they're friends or not. It's like, I've been knowing her for years. I've been working with her for years. Like, I am going to check on her and make sure she's okay. And then Britt, like I said, with the lies, she's mad because Angela called her out and basically was like, they haven't taken your license. Like, tell this to somebody else who don't know about this. Like, I work in the field. I know that it takes more than that to be for them to take your license. In which, come on now, Britt acting like somebody didn't call and told these people something about her or whatever. And y'all know some of y'all might say, well, the Kenya fans at this point, they weren't taking her license. She gets mad at Drew because she tells Drew not Kenya. Britt makes a statement and tell Angela to twirl on out or something, and Drew is like, twirl on out? Wow, that's crazy. And this is why I say Britt was a fan. She was a fan of Kenya because not this woman that did this to you and you up here using her lingo. The irony of it all. And I feel like Britt is just nasty. Like, at the end of the day, y'all know how I feel. I'm not team Britt. I'm not team Kenya. I feel like that Britt should have got fired as well as Kenya. But Britt was just a little smarter in this situation because she had the upper hand. Because Bravo most likely didn't want a lawsuit. So that's most likely why they kept her. I don't know if y'all watch what happens live after the show, but she was throwing shade at Angela then. She said Angela was the most boring housewife, and I'm like, Britt, I like Angela. Britt, you're the most boring. Even though, you have you getting your little shine because of this situation with Kenya, which is unfortunate because Kenya really gave Britt a storyline, because before that, her storyline wasn't hidden for real. It was just like, okay, it wasn't nothing about her for me that made me like, oh, I wonder, about Britt. I wonder about Britt. No, it wasn't nothing like, she's not an ugly girl, but it wasn't nothing that was like, oh, Britt, I like her. At first, I tried to like Britt, but she's just nasty. And I see why she doesn't have friends. And I understand you being mad. I understand the situation with Kenya. I understand all of that. But to get on this show and act like that you wasn't in the cause of it, wasn't like Kenya just came out of left field with this stuff on you for no reason, is crazy. And I feel like she's just playing the victim now. Like I'm telling y'all, this is what Kenya should have did. If Kenya would have made a big deal about that gun, about the GUN, and about all this extra the stuff that Britt said, if she would have played her cards right, Britt would have had to walk. But unfortunately, Kenya took matters into her own hand. Shamea becomes the voice of peace, and they basically ended with the electric slide. I don't see Britt coming back next season. Do y'all see her coming back? She may come back. They may keep her. Maybe her lawyer negotiated something for her to come back. I don't know. But on Watch What Happens Live, I don't even really think Andy was feeling Britt for real. I don't know. She just doesn't seem interested. Even with the situation, she said that her and Kenya had never met, but all of a sudden y'all got all this smoke for each other. Like, it's crazy. And Britt is really unhinged. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's something really, truly, it's wrong with her. It's something that elevator don't go all the way up. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Bye, y'all.